Hey everybody, Pastor Vern here with your daily update for September 9th, Wednesday, 2020. We're through the Labor Day weekend and the official end of summer, I guess, or the unofficial end of summer. And as I look out my window here today at the sign in front of the St. Ed Church, it says that it is 43 degrees at about 1 o'clock. So, yeah, it's been quite a change from the 100-degree weather we'd had the week before. But I guess that's part of the scenario here. 2020 has been anything but typical, I guess you would say. All right. We're going to get back to some of the books of the Bible. We got a few more to go before we move on to some other aspect of knowing more about our faith and about how to enhance our relationship with God. And today we're going to talk about Philippians. The church of Philippi was had some uniqueness to it compared to some of the other churches. And when Paul writes this letter to the church at Philippi, he is imprisoned, and he is relying on his friends for whatever they can share with him for his survival. The prison wasn't exactly the way we think of prison at this time. It may be more a better say that he was imprisoned, because sometimes it didn't necessarily mean it was a certain place they went to. It's that they were restricted about their movements, that they would have a guard that they'd have to have around them all the time. And one of the things about surviving incarceration of however form it took in that time was if you did not have some folks on the outside, friends, relatives, or other, that were helping to supply your very basic needs, it was much more difficult to survive that time of being separated from society. And in the case of the Church of Philippi, they were sending a lot of stuff to Paul. They were sending things to help him survive. And what this letter is to the Philippians is a letter of gratitude in many ways. They had sent a person with resources for Paul to survive his time in captivity. And he kind of not only is a letter of gratitude, but it's also a letter that tells us a lot about the upside of being a Christian, the upside of Christian living, and how that is has value to it as an uplifting experience into the body of Christ, and also God's grace and mercy towards you. I'd use a practical word for this letter as joy. He was expressing joy for the church there, the strength that they were showing, and the gifts they were giving. It's broke down into about four key areas. One would be the philosophy of Christian living. That'd be the first part, about chapter 1, mostly. There's some verses in there that are really kind of interesting that you might want to lift up too if you do some reading. Verse 21 in that chapter will tell you a little bit about Christian living. The second one is more the philosophy of Christian living. The second one's a pattern of Christian living, and you might want to scoot over to chapter 2, verses 5 through 11 there. And then there's the upside of Christian living. You want to scoot over to chapter 3, verses 10 through 14, and the power of Christian living. Chapter 4, maybe the key verse there is like 13 or something like that. That might be one you would hone in on in order to get the idea. Actually, I think if you read those 4 key spots, you'll have a synopsis of the book, and will give you a better idea of what Paul was trying to push out in that relationship with that church. Paul had been there, had done work there, and now he was being supported by the group that was grateful that he had brought the good news of Jesus Christ to them. All right. Well, we've bounced up to 44 degrees. So I guess we're well on our way to, I don't know, something. But, one of these things that we see in these weather changes, this tells us the power of this world that God's put into place for us. And that being it highly unpredictable, we need to prepare ourselves for a lot of different stuff and be able to kind of just go on the ride sometimes. Take good care of yourselves. Watch out for others the best you can. Stay safe. We'll see you later.